What's going on, Bourbon Real Talk family? It's your boy Wes here and Randy coming with invaluable information for you today. Okay, so sit back, get ready for the top 10 bourbons that are better than Blantons.
All right, Wes. So anytime we do a negative topic, we have to have a disclaimer.
Of course.
Because we don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that you all need to know is that these are our opinions. Okay, and your palate may be different.
Yep.
And that's okay. That doesn't make us right and you wrong, or you wrong and us right, or anything else. Everybody gets their own opinion.
Yep.
The second thing that everybody needs to know is that everything that we're going to share with them today is just the bottles that I happen to have on my shelf.
Right.
Okay? There are other bottles that are not listed that I would prefer to drink over Blantons.
Yeah.
Okay? And the next thing that people need to know is that Blantons is actually pretty darn good whiskey.
It is good. I like Blantons.
The problem is that some people get out there and they struggle to find their first bottle of Blantons. And then when they finally get a hold of it and they taste it and they've had some of these whiskeys that we're going to talk about today, they go, well, it's no better than X or it's no better than Y.
Yep.
And that's the point, right? That's what we want people to learn from this. So trigger warning, okay? Some of the stuff that I'm going to say to you guys today is going to be upsetting, okay? So if you are a internet troll, okay, you're gonna get upset. So
just go ahead and turn the video off.
Turn the video off. If you're an internet troll, you're somebody who likes to get online and talk down to other people because of what they like, okay? And you should stop watching. In fact, you should just never watch this channel.
Just unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Don't watch. I don't care what you have to say. You're making the world a worse place. And if you are what I call, and I came up with a new term. It's a whiskey lemming.
Oh, okay.
A whiskey lemming.
Like those little furry...
Yeah, they're like hamster things, but they like jump off of cliffs. And if one of them jumps off, then they all go jumping off. And whiskey lemmings are people who want so badly to be accepted by the whiskey trolls that they're willing to adopt any position whatsoever, right? So trolls are contrarians. And if it's popular, they hate it because they have to be the person that liked the band before they got popular. And they're the only ones that are smart enough to know that it's not good anymore. And then the lemmings just kind of jump on board. Usually the lemmings are men with low self-esteem and all that stuff. And they're just trying to be part of the cool kid club. So if you're in either one of those categories, just skip on out. You can go watch another video from somebody else. Okay, now that we've done all of the disclaimers, okay, let's talk a little bit about Blantons. I like to say that Blantons is the penguin of bourbons, okay? So penguins are amazing creatures. They were designed either by nature or God, depending on what you believe, and they are great at flying in water.
Right.
If you go, penguin is a bird? You go, yeah. And they go, does it fly? And you go, no. They go, oh, that's a terrible bird then.
Right.
That's what happens to Blantons. People are like, Blantons is a premium whiskey? And you're like, yeah, it's a premium whiskey. And they go, well, what's the proof? And you go, 93. And they go, you know.
Right.
And you have to understand that Blantons was the first single barrel bourbon, right? The whole goal was to have consistency in your product.
Right.
Until somebody went, well, sometimes these barrels are better than the blended product. What if we took just the good barrels and we sold them separate so that people could see what it was that we tasted? Yep. And it helped bring about the bourbon renaissance that we're dealing with today. So another thing that people don't know, Wes, is that Blanton's actually has a place in Black history. So African Americans have always contributed to the American whiskey scene. They haven't always gotten the credit for it, and some of that information is starting to come out.
Yeah.
And Freddie Johnson, if you've ever seen the documentary Neat, you hear about how his father helped to create Blantons because he knew where the cherry barrels were that got made into that product. And we're actually going to see him next week.
Can't wait.
And we are going to document that entire process.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned for that. But it's a quintessential bourbon flavor. I like to joke that if you don't like Blantons, it's no problem. It just means you don't like bourbon.
Right.
If you find Blantons at MSRP, just buy it. Right? It's a solid pour. Just buy it. If I walked into a house, because I don't get excited when I see Blantons. If I walk into a bottle share and all these bottles are on the table, I want 10 bottles that I would drink from first before I reach for the Blantons. That's what I'm looking for.
Let's do it then.
All right, so why don't you
Should I start?
I think you should start. Take a look at the shelf.
Okay.
And what would you pick over a Blantons?
Well, I see one thing right away, and it's always one of my favorites.
Okay.
I would go with a full proof 1792.
Yes.
Wouldn't you?
I absolutely would do that.
I'm glad we agree.
Yeah, I love Full Proof 1792. Full Proof is the barrel entry proof for this product is 125. After aging, the proof goes up. They water it back down to its original barrel entry proof. That's why it's called Full Proof. Mm-hmm. They also have a product that's bottled in bond, which is obviously 100 proof. Yeah. It's made by Blanton 1792 Distillery. And the flavor that I get on that one is a smoked cherry. Mm-hmm.
I do get cherry, like medicinal too.
Medicinal cherry with a little bit of smoke.
Mm-hmm. I tend to gravitate more toward a higher proof anyway, so I would choose it. If there is, again, a bottle share and we've got everything out here and we got a Blantons here, full proof, I'm going to fill my Glen up with this first.
All right.
What about you? What do you think? Look at your shelf as if you don't know what's up there already.
Right. I know where every bottle is.
Okay. So what's one that you're going to pick up first to fill your bottle?
No question. I would pick an Elijah Craig Cask Strength before a Blantons.
Okay. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. So Elijah Craig Cask Strength is distilled by Heaven Hill Distillery. The proof varies because it is a barrel proof. I said Cask Strength, it's barrel proof.
Right.
Those two terms mean the same thing, as well as barrel proof and barrel strength are the same thing.
But full proof is different.
Strength, but full proof is different. So Heaven Hill, proof varies. I get like a purple, like grapey flavor with some nuttiness.
A little bit nutty.
A little bit of like a roasted nut flavor. So what?
Do you know what else I saw you had this on your shelf? And one thing that I just recently, believe it or not, tried this whiskey, and this bourbon really stood out to me. I've got to find out where I saw it again. It was a lower shelf item.
And we could do some lower shelf items.
Here it is. Look at this, the Full Proof Benchmark.
Full Proof Benchmark.
Now we see a trend here.
Yeah.
Okay? We've got a barrel proof, we've got a full proof, and we've got another full proof. So are we just high proof guys? Is that what we're trying to say?
We are, and that's part of my clothes, so don't cover it too much. Okay. But yeah, so
spoiler alert, we're high proof guys.
So I hesitate to put this one in here because this is not widely available yet.
Really?
So some of their other products are, but Benchmark is considered kind of a bottom shelf product that Buffalo Trace makes, and they have several different proof points that they sell out. But they released this full proof, which is interesting because it's 125 proof.
I like it.
And it's basically 125 proof Buffalo Trace is what it is. I mean, it's Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1, same barrels, same cooperage, same everything. Probably about the same age. I'm guessing this is around a 4 to 5 year product, just like Buffalo Trace would be.
Is this age stated on the?
No, it's not age stated. But when they're $22 for 122 proof, it's not aged for 20 years. Right. So I'm guessing it's at the lower end because it's not age stated. It's got to be at least 4 years old. So I'm guessing it's 4 to 5 year old whiskey.
So good.
And it's $22.
Yeah.
So if you live in an area where that's available, that's a good one.
Yep, that's another one. All right. Let's go to number 3. What else would you pick?
All right. Let's see.
Let's get these lined up for the people.
Get them lined up so that everybody can see.
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
So we've gotten 3. We're going to give you 10. You pick next.
All right. So let's do this guy. So
it's got to be on the list.
It's got to be on the list. And I've got a bottle back here that is the same thing. We're going to put these in the same category, okay? So either one of these I would rather drink than Blantons, okay? So this is a Russell's Reserve, okay? And there's different variations of Russell's Reserve, but the important thing is that they're 110 proof.
Right.
Okay. And then this is Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit. These are both the same product. They're both made by Wild Turkey. This one's 110 proof. This one is 101. I get a cherry note, sometimes a hint of a nuttiness on these products. But either one of these, I think, are better flavor than regular Blantons.
For sure, flavor. Well, You know, I'd probably go with a Four Roses, probably the single barrel.
Yeah, right there.
Right here.
Yep.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Yes, a single barrel Four Roses for me. This, to me, I would choose over a Blanton on the table.
For sure. So this is made by Four Roses Distillery. They have another product that I'd pick over Blanton's, which is the Four Roses Small Batch Select. About the same price point as Blanton's as well. The single barrels, they can sometimes get up there in the $75 range or so. But the single barrels are interesting because they can be any of the 10 mash bill combinations that they have.
Yep.
Well, I say mash bill combinations, recipes. Because they have five yeast strains and 2 mash bills. Mm-hmm. So 10 different recipes. So it could be any of the 10, but it's also cask strength.
Yeah.
So I would pick this over Blanton's for sure.
Oh, well, hello there, you fellow bourbon lovers, you. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Anyways, I want to invite you over to the bourbonrealtalk.com store today. After the show, go check it out. We've got new merch that's just hit the shop. We've got travel cases for your wee glens and your big glens. We've got toppers for your glens as well. We've got the rocks glasses that we offer now and all the other cool merch that you're used to seeing there. So go check it out after the show and support the channel by checking out our store and picking up a couple things and getting them on your doorstep a few days later. We can't wait for you to check out all the new merch that we've got to offer now at bourbonrealtalk.com.
Dun, 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 dun.
Knob Creek.
Knob Creek.
Again, in the blind episode, if you haven't seen it, link is right here somewhere at the bottom of the screen.
Down below.
And so we did a little blind test, me and Lindsay, double blind. Not just because there were 2 of us, but because we didn't know the bottles and we didn't know what was in the glass. So we both loved Knob Creek. In a double blind test, and I probably would do that every time it's in a blind with me because I just love the flavor profile of Knob Creek and what they have.
Yeah, Knob Creek distilled by Jim Beam. The bottom shelf product is 100 proof.
Yeah.
And I get cherry and some toasted nut on
I do get like a toasty, like almost like, this is going to sound crazy, but like nuts over a fire, like roasted.
Fire roasted, yeah.
Yes, love it. So, speaking of that,
all right.
Since I'm on a roll here, can I pick another one?
Yeah, let's go.
Because this is another one near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
And that would be my good friends from Louisville, Kentucky, Old Forrester.
Old Forrester.
I love Old Forrester. Love Old Forrester. Everything about it. I love the bananas Foster's dessert taste that I get with every single sip. I love the notes on the nose. I love the price point. Mm-hmm. I love the proof point, 115 on the 1920. 1910 is also pretty good, a little sweeter to me, but I love this. To me, can live on my shelf of everyday drinkers for the rest of its life and the rest of mine, and I would not be upset about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
How about you? Do you like it?
I love it.
Does it belong on the list to you?
It definitely belongs on the list.
Absolutely.
I would drink 1920 over Blanton's any day of the week.
Any day. And I would be super excited about it because I paid $55 maybe, $50. Is that what the 1920s are now?
I think they're in that price range.
I go in there and just pick them up and throw them on the shelf and like, I don't know.
That's how big of a bourbon a-hole I am. When I go in, I buy so much stuff and I don't ask what the price is.
I don't even ask. My wife's like, how much was that? I'm like, they gave it to me.
Yeah, it was like I gave them a piece of plastic and then I walked out with bottles.
They gave it to me. Yeah. So, but yeah, I love the Old Forrester stuff. So I've taken up 2 spaces. I'm going to let you pick again.
Okay.
Where are we at? These kind of count as 2. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means we got 3 left to pick.
Okay. Number 8.
Number 8.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. I am
going to the bottom again?
I'm going to the bottom shelf.
Wow.
For this guy, Maker's Mark, cask strength. And I'll also throw in there a caveat. I have a bottle right now, but the Maker's Mark 101.
101, yes.
Originally created for like duty-free shops and whatnot. COVID screwed that up. They started releasing it in the United States. Excellent product, but Maker's Mark Cask Strength, it's been slept on. Widely available. It's made by Maker's Mark. The proof varies because it is Cask Strength, but it's 110 proof is what it says this one is. So love the 101 as well. I get an orange zest on that bottle.
A little orange zest.
A little bit of orange zest.
Okay.
I'm trying to develop my Maker's Mark skill because someone gave it to me in a blind and I could not identify it. So
one day.
Dream
big.
I'll be a big boy YouTuber for bourbon.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. We'll see.
Maybe.
All right.
I think you should go again.
You think I should go again? All right.
I mean, yeah, I think you should go. I mean, this to me is a solid lineup, and as you have noticed, we have not crept above this middle shelf here. I mean,
no,
we've got all of these great whiskeys up here. So, what are you going to go with next?
Do you care if I get a little weird?
Of course. I love you getting weird.
All right, perfect.
Sounds intriguing.
All right, so I know that Blantons is a quintessential Kentucky bourbon.
Right.
But I want to show Texas a little love.
Oh, yes. Let's show Texas some love for crying out loud.
Still Austin.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Cask Strength bottle. That's the one that I'd pick over Blantons.
I should have brought mine, man.
Yeah, I probably should have sent you a message.
Should have sent me a message.
But yeah, this is still Austin, straight bourbon. It's interesting because they use a column still, and most Texas producers use pot still. So if you've tasted Texas whiskey, you don't like it. It's a little bit too bold and oily and unctuous and all that stuff.
Right.
That's why they use the column still, much more in alignment with a Kentucky flavor. I get a nice cherry note on this. Originally, I thought it tasted a little like E.H. Taylor small batch. Sent out a blind to a friend that hates Texas whiskey with this in it. E.H. Taylor small batch, E.H. Taylor single barrel, and then this. And originally he picked this. The next day he reached out and he was like, "Hey, I retasted those samples and I want to change my order." And he made this one second. But point being, it competed.
That's awesome.
And that wasn't even the Cask Strength, which is what we're recommending over Blantons.
Absolutely.
So that's a solid one.
I'm looking at this list that we've got here. It's pretty solid. But there was one that and this is a recent one for me. When we went on our trip to Nashville and did some filming out there, we found this at a local store, and I brought it home. I've loved it ever since then, and I think it's amazing.
All right, what do you got?
And I'm going to go with New Riff. That's what I'm going with.
Nice.
What about you? You like that?
Loved.
You like that pick?
I'd drink a New Riff single barrel over
Absolutely.
Blantons, for sure.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, great story on New Riff. There's a big liquor store in Covington, Kentucky called the Party Source. And the owner made plenty of money, decided he wanted to start a distillery, effectively gave the distillery to the employees.
Because you can't own a store.
You can't own a store and a distillery. Opened up a distillery in the same parking lot. We're going there next week, by the way. And so yeah, they make amazing product. It's one of my favorite products that's made by a new Kentucky distillery.
Yeah.
And their single barrels are barrel proof, and I'd pick that over a Blanton's any day of the week.
So good.
Yeah.
Now, we said we were going to give you 10. This looks like 11, but it's not.
These two are in the same category.
Same category.
Yeah.
So we've got the Full Proof 1792, Elijah Craig Benchmark, Russell's Reserve, Single Barrel 4 Roses, Knob Creek, Old Forrester, Maker's Mark, Still Austin, New Riff.
It's solid. Can I add a weird 11th?
Well, this is a top 10.
I know, but there's one that I think belongs.
This is your show. Go
all
ahead.
right. All right. So I would like to suggest Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
Barrel proof, yes.
Actually, it doesn't have to be single barrel. Just Jack Daniel's barrel proof is phenomenal. This one, I think, is a single barrel. Yes, it is. But solid product.
Absolutely.
They don't like to be called bourbon. And we've covered this before on the podcast. From a legal standpoint, the Lincoln County process is a subtractive measure. It's not an additive measure. Bourbon requirements don't really deal with subtractive measures because filtration is normal. There is a rule that says that you can't filter it so much that it doesn't taste like bourbon. And there's another rule about percentages. But this comes nowhere near meeting that. So from a legal standpoint, this can be called bourbon. So I want to put it on the bourbon list, but I just added it as a bonus.
I'll let you do that because I love it as well.
That's awesome.
And one thing else that I love, let's tell them about the show philosophy. I love what Bourbon Real Talk stands for. We are all about bringing people together through these fine brown spirits right here. Bourbon has a connective power, we've noticed, and connection is super important to you.
Yes.
So tell us where this came from and why the obsession with connecting people together.
Well, unfortunately, I was going through my bourbon journey, and I was getting involved and connecting with people. And it was right around the time that I started getting in, like, collecting whiskey. My younger brother committed suicide. He was a veteran. When he was honorably discharged, he was addicted to opioids. It was a terrible situation. And in the aftermath of that, as I was growing in my bourbon hobby, I was looking for ways to keep people from feeling alone like he did.
Absolutely.
And I saw whiskey bringing people together, and eventually I came to the conclusion that if I can get people connected to whiskey, the whiskey will do the rest of the job and keep people connected to each other. And so that was part of the impetus for starting this channel. And as I started getting into it and trying to figure out, like, what do you say at the beginning and what do you say at the end, I just had this thing in my heart that I wanted to say. And I realized that, in whiskey groups and on social media in general, there were people that were saying really mean things to each other. And they didn't even know each other. They'd say hateful things that were, like, really personal. And I thought, well, if somebody can hate someone that they don't know, I can love them, right? I mean, it's just as easy to love as it is hate. And that's why I end every show the same way. And that's this. If you woke up this morning and you were unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that I love you, that we love you.
We both love you.
And we'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk.
You're not alone. Has the more of a palatable flavor profile. That was really tough.
No, sometimes
flavor
words are
profile.
hard.
Words are hard.
Yeah.
After drinking half the day. Hey, what's up, bourbon friends? It's Wes here, and I want to personally invite you to the Bourbon Real Talk community. Now, if the show philosophy resonates with you and you have this desire to connect with others, you don't want to feel alone, well, that's what we're here for. So you're in luck. Go to facebook.com and log into your account and search Bourbon Real Talk community. Now, you're going to request to join the group. It's a private group, but we are going to accept you in with open arms and be excited that you are a part of something bigger. Now, that's what bourbon's all about, connecting others with this brown spirit and with one another. So we're going to have live events, we're going to have barrel picks, we're going to have open discussions, private videos for you to see from Bourbon Real Talk, and it's a great way to get connected with others all around the world. So go on Facebook now, search Bourbon Real Talk community, and I'll see you there.